We've all heard it before. I can't do this or I can't do that. Maybe we've even said it ourselves once or twice. Here's some more examples that come to mind. I can't climb that. I'm not a good ball thrower. I don't write very well. I can fix anything. I can build that. We can't do that. We can't afford that. That's no problem for us. I don't smoke. I don't drink those. Or I don't eat that. Well, none of these things have to be true for any of us. And yet, for some of us, they're all true, at least about something at some period in our lives. But it doesn't have to be like this. We've been living life backwards this whole time, and hardly any of us have been the wiser. Life doesn't have to be about figuring out whether we can do something or be something or not. Life should be happening the other way around, where we decide if we can or cannot before we've even tried. This is how beliefs are meant to work, and today we're going to discuss how we can change them before we've even taken the first step into something new. The first thing to understand about beliefs is that we didn't really choose any of them. Most of them were given to us by someone else, usually our parents or significant players in our life. And as kids, and still most adults, no one ever taught us that we're allowed to formulate beliefs before we do the thing or be that person we want to be, even when it's not entirely true at the beginning. Now there's a few different ways we've been establishing our beliefs already, and you can probably look back at your life to see what those ways are. But let's go over a few examples. Example 1. Our parents, or one of them, are athletic, and most likely gives us an opportunity to be athletic by encouraging us to try some sport or physically demanding activity, which we end up excelling at because we've seen our parents or role models do well at. So, we inherited the athletic beliefs through observation and association, and then further entrenched those beliefs by proving ourselves right about them by doing well at the sport or activity. I could explain similar examples using fixing things, building things, being good with numbers, good at sewing, acting dramatic, being intense, being lazy, liking cats or dogs. I think you get the idea though. Example number 2. We all spend time with ourselves doing the things we like, and the reasons we like them don't really matter today for this lesson. We're just going to assume that we like certain things. So imagine a little girl drawing and coloring pictures and art, and she winds up spending hours and hours doing it because it's cold outside, so mom can clean the house, so the teacher can get some work done, and simply because it's a fun, creative thing to do for young girls, usually, without too much cleanup or instruction or help required. The years go by, and the young girl ends up getting better and better at coloring and drawing, and getting more and more creative and detailed with it. Without too much guidance, this young girl ends up being amazing at creating beautiful drawings and artwork, and eventually she believes that she's a fantastic artist and can do it well. She created her beliefs over time by practicing and self-fulfilling her unconscious beliefs until they became conscious. Example number 3. We've all had some kind of teacher in this life, with school or with work, or some kind of hobby or activity. Let's consider the young boy who kind of struggles with math work early in school for whatever reason. Maybe he inherited a bad belief, he just didn't care early on, maybe someone meaningful to him said he sucked at it just a single time. And so this young boy is cruising along in primary school, just getting by in his math work and assignments, but he starts slipping behind his peers in terms of speed, recall, method, and being correct. He starts believing more and more that he isn't good at math, especially compared to his friends and classmates, who seem to be doing better with it. The boy's teacher starts talking with his parents, saying he needs help, and the parents try to work with the boy by practicing more or getting a tutor. Now everyone around him thinks he sucks at math, and as he gets older, he has to do multiplication and division for his school, but he can barely handle the basics. Now he's a teenager, and he believes he's terrible at it. He hardly even cares to improve, because it makes him flustered and upset at himself every time he tries. I guess he's just doomed to be terrible at math forever. Thanks, education system. So there's 3 examples of how we inherit or acquire or build up belief systems. There's plenty more ways than that, but those are some of the more common ways to build a belief system. Try to think of some more ways we could build a belief system. And remember, they can sometimes start in our young minds with a single word, observation, action, or misstep. And they can start at any age though. But the big ones are usually formed early in life. The second thing to know about beliefs is that they aren't fixed. And this is good. Now we can get somewhere. Our subconscious already understands this perfectly well, and maybe that's why sometimes we're willing to try something new later in life, especially when it's for something we want. Like the older person that makes the big career change to another industry, or the lifetime drinker that finally thinks it's time to move on because life has become not so good anymore. I used to be a smoker. Weed, cigarettes, cigars, vaping. Honestly, I loved them all. And although I didn't do it for too many years, there came a day when enough was enough. Now, I didn't stop because I didn't like them. I stopped for the other reasons, like, why does the urge to do them never go away? For example, even immediately after having a cigarette, the call for the next one is already queued up in the mind. It's annoying. Why couldn't I be more satisfied and get that mental space back for a minute? I had to stop because I needed that focus and uninterrupted attention back to accomplish my next mission in life. And here's the trick I used to quit. I'll tell it to you now. I had already understood that beliefs aren't fixed, and I already knew that I had become a smoker, and that was okay, for a time. Even though I wanted to quit for a while, I only finally did so when I decided not to be a smoker anymore. So it wasn't that I was quitting anything at all. I was deciding to be someone different. I changed the definition of who I was being that day. I went from being a smoker to not being a smoker. I changed the fixed beliefs I had about my identity. Who cares how many days it's been? I'm not a smoker anymore. And I'll tell you that in as many different ways as I can until I believe it myself. I don't care what you saw me do yesterday. I'm not a smoker today. I can't even remember all those times I smoked. That wasn't even who I am now. Beliefs aren't fixed. Tell yourself as many times as you need to, in as many different ways as you can think up, until you've convinced yourself. The final and perhaps most important thing of all to know about beliefs is that we are allowed to make them before we've even tried or started to do something new or be someone different. The smoking example I just referred to was a brief instance of this process. The biggest detail here is that we know and believe it is possible to think a certain way before it is realized. I'm allowed to believe that I'm amazing at being an inspirational speaker before I've even set foot on the stage. The stronger I believe it, the more we'll see it, faster and faster. You're allowed to believe with me too. You can do it, Josh. You got this, Josh. I believe in you, Josh. Even if I totally flub and forget everything I practiced, all I have to do is keep on believing until we all see it to be true. It's like a growing energy that starts with a decision in the mind, or many minds. We can help the young boy think he's a math whiz, We can encourage the young girl to be the amazing artist even when she's working on keeping it in the lines. And we can tell the kids that they're the best young sports stars we've ever seen. And we're allowed to believe it even when they can barely throw the ball. Make them believe it too, and watch how reality unfolds much differently than we've grown accustomed to. Beliefs about things make us who we are, especially when those beliefs are about ourselves. We're surrounded by many others too, and they can either have a conscious influence or an unconscious influence. Do I still pretend you're the star of the show when you can barely play the part? Or do I start thinking that you suck? It depends where we both want to end up, I guess. And it depends how conscious we're being of the beliefs that we're choosing. Everyone needs to understand how powerful our beliefs are. They shape our reality out in front of us. Whether we're a young child or an old lady, it works all the same. Let's stop living life backwards and try living life the right way for a change. Take control of your beliefs on the front end and watch life unfold more how you'd like. Don't be afraid to change during any part of your journey though. Thanks for watching.